Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Mixed Feelings. I'm your host, Kira Bria, and I'm joined today by Nona. And today we're going to be talking about an idea that Nona actually came up with, which is, would Taylor Swift be as famous as she is without Kanye West? So, well, okay, I'm actually curious about what made you think of this?
So my younger sister was having a debate with her friends in college, and she texted me and she was like, so and so, like one of my roommates was just like, oh, something about Taylor Swift and like Kanye. And I think she was asked like that question, or she had posed the question like, oh, would she be as famous? It started with my younger sister. And then I was like, let me just ask Instagram and TikTok.
And what did Instagram and TikTok say?
So I said, would Taylor Swift have been as famous if she had not been interrupted by Kanye West at 2009 VMAs? And I don't think she would be. And a lot of people were like, no, you're right. Like, I don't think she would be. But all the people who were like, she would be just as famous were white women in their 20s.
Interesting.
When I tell you the only people that came to her defense, there was one black girl that came to her defense. No man came to that woman's defense.
Yeah, no, men don't really ride for Taylor that much.
But it was all white girls. Like every person was like, and every person I asked also like who has bigger cultural impact.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Kanye West or Taylor. And every person who said, there's a mix of people that are like, oh, Kanye, like a bunch of people said Kanye. But then again, all the people who said Taylor Swift, white women in their 20s.
You know, I feel like that question in particular, like who has a bigger cultural impact, that's a really interesting question. Because for me, I would say Kanye.
Oh yeah.
But that's because I'm more inclined towards Kanye. And it's almost like if you're a white girl and like she's like your, I don't know, your representation of like what you want to, I don't know, then maybe I guess she is really important to like
your culture,
their culture, you know what I mean?
But Kanye is like a global phenomenon, you know what I mean? And like Taylor only became that after 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And so like Kanye, I'm like, do you remember the Shutter Shades era?
No.
Shutter Shades? Remember when Justin Bieber wore those sunglasses?
Oh, yeah.
Sunglasses?
Yeah.
And you couldn't see. When I tell you, everyone in the 8th grade and 7th grade, we were wearing them for like 2 years and we couldn't see anything. But it's only because Kanye West like made them cool. Like no, there's never been, nobody wears Taylor Swift shoe campaigns.
That's a really good point, is that if you like think about it, not just in the terms of music, but like design and like
like Taylor Swift trying to make a gospel album, you know, like
yeah. You also have the fact of like, if you want to put the Kardashians into it, then obviously Kanye. But I don't know. Well, because how old were we when Kanye interrupted Taylor?
12. It was 2009. So if you were born 98, you would have been 11, 12, and I would have been 12, 13.
Yeah. And I remember that happening, but I don't remember if I knew who Taylor Swift was before that.
A lot of people didn't, because what happened was, so like the VMAs, first of all, that was the VMAs. That was the VMA Awards. Remember when Beyonce did her Single Ladies performance of 2009 where she had the robotic hand?
Yeah.
That was that like era. And I was like, first of all, I can't find the performance anywhere for the life of me. But that's when I knew Beyonce was like an out of this world entertainer. I was like, that is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Like with that 2009 VMAs performance, like in my 13 years, I was like, or my 12 years, however, because I don't remember when award season was at this time, but I was just like, I think it was September actually. So it was like a September 2009. I was just like, she's literally better than all of you. Like I've never seen anything like that. Like she's literally better than you. And so like, this was like this was after her Sasha Fierce album. So I was really in my diva Halo era.
Yeah.
This is Beyonce's Halo era. Like Beyonce was really getting recognition at this point. And Kanye West was already a global phenomenon because he was coming off of 808 and Heartbreaks and all of his college dropout albums. So we've been singing Gold Digger for years at this point. And like little me, like 8-year-old me was like, she take my money.
Yeah, same.
Who takes my money? I don't have a bank account. Like, and so Kanye has done all of these things. Everybody knows like who Kanye West is, like at this point in 2009. Taylor Swift was a country singer.
What had she dropped at that point?
This was her mean era. Like, so someday I'll be living in a big old city.
Yeah, I didn't know that song till after the fact.
Also a big Taylor Swift person, but I knew that the Black and brown kids I had gone to school with didn't know who she was. Like the theater kids knew who Taylor Swift was because like we're like, oh yeah, I heard Teardrops on My Guitar when in 3rd grade. Like,
I remember that song.
Like, okay, I heard her on Radio Disney.
Yeah, but I think I only knew Teardrops on My Guitar because people did it at dance competitions. I'm
screaming. That is so funny.
Had she written
the lyrical numbers now? Like,
exactly. Had she written Romeo and Juliet yet?
Yes, this was after Fearless. This was after her Fearless album because the Fearless album came out in 2008. So she has been coming off of a very popular album, but she was nowhere near Kanye West fame. You know what I mean? Like this was for her You Belong With Me music video, which is a great music video, but this was up against Single Ladies.
I think I did know who Taylor Swift was, but I definitely would have known Beyonce and Kanye more than that. I think is where I'm at.
Like Taylor Swift is very much like teenage suburban white girl famous.
So what do you think made her like extra famous? Like, yes, Kanye interrupted her, but like what, like why?
It was the media coverage after. So like that had made national news. Tucker Carlson, Fox News, like the host of Fox News, who literally we went to the same college and I want to vomit every time I think about it. Like, but he is the most watched. His show is the most watched show. Like Fox News is the most watched news channel in America. Please think about that. Like,
that's crazy.
So they did this whole thing and basically they try to digitally lynch Kanye. Like they were like, how dare he, this horrible, this young little girl. I'm like, you could just hear the racial undertones of everything they were saying. Like, how dare this dark-skinned Black man attack the epitome of white American, like beauty standards and womanhood. And so it was like this necessary need, this like, not necessary need, that was redundant. This, remember how like white women are the most protected thing in the United States. So, and Black men are to be the most feared because this is, remember the super predator days of the Clintons in the 90s and all that kind of stuff. And so, and like always the myth of the Black rapist, right? So they have like, they always want to push this narrative that like the people you should be afraid of and the men you should really be the most afraid of are Black men specifically, and never look at like, don't be afraid of white men. Like, it's Black men that are like these terrorists that are coming out here to attack your daughters. And so that situation fit the narrative of all the things they tried to peddle to basically further the narrative that Black men were super predators. So they're just like, even look at these rappers. They come up here and they interrupt you. Like, how dare she, like, da-da-da-da-da, because this was, think about it. This was Kanye West in his George Bush don't like Black people era.
Right.
George Bush don't like Black people.
I knew that.
White people were already a little up in arms about Kanye. We're already. And so when he took the mic from Taylor Swift to defend a Black woman, they don't remember.
They were not having
trying to defend a Black woman. They don't remember that part. He was like, I'm doing this in the name of Beyonce. Nobody remembers that. Like, they don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Got overshadowed by Taylor Swift's hurt feelings because they were just like, oh my God, like, what is like Taylor Swift? Like, she's so young. She's so young. I'm sorry.
I remember.
You want to know when I heard the N-word for the first time? All right.
Like, I remember, like, the way they replayed it, they rarely played the part where he was saying, like, where he was talking about Beyonce. They mostly played, like, the very beginning where he's like, I'm gonna let you finish, almost to the point where you didn't know, like, why he was interrupting her or, like, what his point was. Like, I remember almost being like, what's he trying to say?
Yeah, they, like, basically, like, people forget that it was literally in Beyonce's defense. And Beyonce was like, Kanye, what are you doing? And then
like, oh my God, I didn't ask you to do that.
Right. She was like, She's like, Kanye. And so like, literally when Beyonce had an acceptance speech, 5 minutes later, she was like, hey, like a girl had her very special night tonight. This young lady, I would like to bring her back out on the stage so she can finish her speech. Taylor Swift comes back on the stage from Beyonce and is like, oh my God, thank you. Like, da-da-da-da.
Uh-huh.
She never brings that up. When I tell you Taylor Swift has built an entire era of her career around her and her beef with Kanye West in the Reputation era.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, I'm here for women empowerment. I'm here for women empowerment.
Well, wait, it also came back I just remember when I was watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and like they talk about like the phone call between Taylor and Kanye when he was about to put her in his song in Famous. And she pretends like that conversation never happened, and then
that was hilarious to me.
Because, and then didn't Kim leak it?
Mm-hmm. Illegally. She was never supposed to record the conversation because it's illegal to do that. But like in California, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, I think in California,
they're the lawyers, not me. But basically, so what happened was that national media coverage pushed Taylor Swift's name into every corner of America. It just pushed her name out into places a country artist was not able to reach before. Yeah. Like people were just like, who's Taylor Swift? Oh, like this girl sings this. Oh, let me go watch that music video. Because people want to be up with the times. Mm-hmm. People want to keep up. People want to talk about it. Like, and especially people with like, who don't want to talk about like, I don't know, racism. They'll just be like, oh, Taylor Swift, Kanye, not knowing the role racism plays in like dynamics that like of storytelling and media, like racial dynamics of the media. But after that, it was like Taylor Swift almost skyrocketed into fame. And along with that fame, skyrocketed her victim narrative. Like, and obviously like what he did was like mean, but it's like, okay, Kanye, but was he wrong? No. Single Ladies is one of the best music videos of all time. Yeah. Of all time. It is. Like you're like, I'm sorry, people went for Single Ladies for Halloween. There is a plot line in Glee about single ladies of Kurt and his dad learning the Single Ladies dance.
Yeah.
Nobody was doing that for You Along with Me.
That's facts.
It's just like, it's a great music video. I love it, but it does not have the same cultural impact as Single Ladies.
Right. But I feel like obviously the media wasn't taking that angle with it. They were just saying like, oh, look at this uncontrollable Black man interrupting this innocent young
white woman.
Mm-hmm. And she did kind of run with that. She does.
Ran like literally. And I'm like, she ran with it. And like everything after that was like, look how everything after that was never like, look at me taking the narrative back. It was always, look how these people have hurt me. Everything she has done, it's never like, I'm coming back. And the only time she ever tried to take back the narrative was when it had to do with Kanye West again and her Reputation era and her look what you made me do era. Yeah. Look what you made me do. That is just the most gaslighting statement I've ever heard in my life. Like, look what you made me do.
Wait, who was that about? Does she say, or do you know?
It was about like how like the media always portrays her in this negative light. And I'm like,
I mean, honestly, I feel like she has had it easier than a lot of people in regards to how the media portrays her. Like, I feel like
right. Nobody ever drew her as a monkey after they won the Wimbledon. You know what I mean? Like, no one gives her like being a woman in the industry is obviously a difficult task, but it's like, girl, you're not battling homophobia and racism on top of.
Well, yeah, but also even out of like white women, I feel like they didn't do to her what they did to Britney. You know what I mean? Or to Miley, even like they have always kind of, I feel like most people have always kind of put some sort of respect on her name, or at least like innocence on her name.
Yes.
Like they don't make her they don't slut shame her, even though she's had a lot of boyfriends. They don't like.
I think they did though, like in the media. Like I think they did basically have like some form of like slut shaming her, like all she does is date boys and write songs about them. Well, it's like, well, that's what everybody does. That's what everybody does. because as an artist, you just take your real life experiences or whatever you want to write about, and then you write about it. So if she takes her relationship experiences, it's how she also named her songs.
Yeah.
Because like her song Dear John is about John Mayer.
Yeah.
Her style is about Harry Styles. I mean, like, you know, like she never tried to, she was always tongue in cheek, like, yeah, this is exactly who it's about. Or like how, and it's like, I don't know, it always just like, it just never felt like it's like, girl, like, of course, like there's always going to be sexism wherever you go. So like you dating guys and like Leo DiCaprio dating girls half his age is not going to get the same kind of attention because of sexism. Like we know that. But like if you're taking it and running with it, and then you're upset that it's like somehow not getting spun back in your favor.
Yeah, I feel that I don't know. I do think she plays into that narrative a lot. And I understand like she has been a victim in the sense of like, you know, when she wasn't owning her music and stuff like that. And I think she's definitely used that to her advantage in a way that I haven't seen like any other woman do. Like everything
they're just not allowed to. Beyonce's not allowed to play the victim. Like there's no way anybody would allow Beyonce to play the victim because she's Black. They don't allow like Black women to be like, oh, the victims of things in media. But also after that whole thing with Taylor Swift and like not having her music, I will never forget when she hopped on the internet and was like, oh, so-and-so has my music. How about Taylor Nation shows them how we feel about that? She knew exactly what she was doing. Her fan base is deranged. Trust me. They're deranged. Not all of them, but they are, some of them are, no. The Scooter Braun could not go to his office that day because there were people like outside his office calling him, giving him death threats.
Wait, was it Scooter Braun's fault?
Yeah. So Scooter Braun basically like, well, because she signed a bad contract when she was 13.
Oh, okay.
Like, because like the music industry, like literally preys on children, you know, like she got preyed upon as a child. Be like, oh, look at this talented girl. Like, let's make her into this contract where she makes us all this money and we basically exploit her for her talents.
Right.
Like kind of thing. And it's like, oh, that sucks. So she wanted her master's back kind of thing. And they were like, Big Machine was like, the Big Machine Records was like, no, like just write some more albums for us. And then like, maybe we'll talk about it. And she was like, no, like I want it now. Like, and so she left and they got pissed because she's their biggest artist. They got pissed and sold her catalog to Scooter Braun, who is the manager of Kanye West.
Oh. Wait, still?
I think so. Last I checked, like at the time, it was like he is the manager of Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, Kanye West, and Demi Lovato. Those are like the names I can think of. So
I did not know that he managed Kanye West.
I'm pretty sure. Let me look that up right now before I.
That's interesting though. But yeah, no, I knew that she had like gotten taken advantage of like in that way, like through the industry.
Did. But I was like, did you just send the dogs on somebody? Did you just? And then she did the same thing again after, remember Ginny and Georgia? Girl, you know we love Ginny and Georgia, that show. That show was great. Remember the line about Taylor Swift in the show?
Wait, what was that line?
I don't remember the line.
I missed the line.
The line was to the plot. It was not about the Taylor Swift line at all. She was arguing with Hunter. Like Antonia Gentry's character, Ginny, was arguing with Hunter in like a scene. And one of the writers had put in a line that was basically a dig at Taylor Swift. Something about like, it was like, I don't know. It was like
saying she was basic or something.
Something like, I don't remember. I literally don't remember the line. Like, I just know.
I remember people asking me about it on TikTok and me being like, I literally don't remember that.
Like when I tell you there were so many bigger plot lines.
There was 300 things happening.
Like
there was a child with a motorcycle. There was murder.
Right? There was Ginny and her self-harm. Like there was the dynamics of being raised like biracial and like having a mother that doesn't look like you. Like,
I know there was the fight between her and Hunter, calling out
the oppression Olympics. Like
go eat some jerk chicken. Like
there were so many things going on that the Taylor Swift line got lost. It got lost. Like we were just like, oh, okay, like I don't remember what it at all. And so she took to the internet again. She took to Twitter and she said, hey, like Netflix, like I thought we were past like something about women. And so something like that, right? And her fan base can be slightly deranged at times. Sent racist and racist.
I'm going to look up what the line is.
Threat to Antonia Gentry to the point where she felt that she had to make an Instagram post basically apologizing for doing her job. And did Taylor Swift ever stop and take the time to tell people, hey, that's not okay?
Oh my God.
Like my beef is with Netflix and it's not okay for you to be racist to this Black girl. Like it's not okay. Yeah. That's not okay for you to do. No. And did she ever say, I'm sorry, Scooter Braun, you should not have my fan shouldn't have sent you death threat. Hey,
I'm sorry, Scooter Braun.
Like, that's hey, like, maybe you guys, like, I understand you're pissed and so am I, but don't send somebody death threats. That's not okay. Like, she has never like come out and been like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, she's never done that. But I'm like, girl, you.
Oh my gosh, I found the tweet. Okay. It says, hey, Ginny and Georgia. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry. The line is, why do you care? You go through men faster than Taylor Swift, from Ginny and Georgia. And her tweet says, hey, Ginny and Georgia, 2010 called and wants its lazy, deeply sexist joke back. How about we stop degrading hardworking women by defining this horse shit as funny? Also, at Netflix, after Miss Americana, this outfit doesn't look cute on you. Happy Women's History Month, I guess. Listen, I guess I get what the joke is very like, it's low-hanging fruit, but I'm not like that angry at it in the sense of like.
But it's just like, girl, aren't you an international superstar?
Yeah.
You know what they call Beyonce? You know what they say about all these women. Beyonce don't be like, I always think how Beyonce never comments on a single thing.
Yeah.
Because she's like, you think I'm really going to let some dumb comment like get to me?
Beyonce has an energy I really envy because I don't know how she does that.
Like, they're just like, okay, like say what you want. Yeah. Like, I know the truth at the end of the day.
That's very interesting that she chose to respond to it.
It is to me because I'm like, girl, they drag your name through the mud on everything else.
Well, also, it's just like, it doesn't feel like that much of a drag to me. It's like, we've seen her publicly go through relationships. It's not necessarily that she even goes through men faster. It's just that they're more famous. And we know about them. And it's like, I don't even take it as much of a diss though.
But it's just like, did that one really get to you, girl?
Clearly it did.
If that's getting to you, call your therapist. I'm sorry, girl. You are Taylor Swift.
It's almost like I'm curious.
Full of hate. If you're searching for it, it's full of it. Like,
I'm curious, was she watching the show and she saw it?
I tell you, I don't even know.
Or did so many people just send it to her? Probably,
but all I know.
You're right. Her fans are a little bit crazy.
Just slightly deranged.
Like just a little like, oh.
They sent her death threats. They sent her like, they were being so racist to her after that, to Antonia Gentry.
Who plays Ginny?
Yes.
That wasn't her fault. The other thing is like, even for Taylor to say also at Netflix, after Miss Americana, this doesn't look good on you. It's like, Netflix didn't write that line.
Right.
Like, but blame the writers.
But it's also just like, what are you trying to say, Taylor?
It sounded
After
like
Miss
a threat.
Americana, because she could have stopped at the, hey, leave your sexist jokes back where they came from. But,
right.
Okay, whatever. All right, leave your sexist jokes where they came from. Period. But then she goes, after Miss Americana, this outfit doesn't look good on you. Girl, what? Was that a read?
What? It sounded like a threat.
Exactly. When I tell you, I was like, that sounded so manipulative to two very empathetic people. Okay. That sounded extremely after Miss America. Girl, does
that
Netflix owe you money?
Doesn't look good on you.
Does Netflix owe you money?
You trying to throw hands?
Like that's what I'm saying. I'm like, if you're trying to insult Netflix, you better say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. Because, bro, don't even talk to the writers. Talk to the writers of Ginny and Georgia.
No, that's what I'm saying.
So I'm upset about it. Talk to the writers.
Do you think that Netflix wrote every single line of every TV show that they host?
They probably thought it like, I don't even know. I don't even know. Like you said, it sounded like a threat. I was like,
it sounded like she was trying to imply that she no longer wants to work with Netflix in any capacity in the future because of this diss.
But it's just, again, like, do you think Netflix is going to lose sleep?
Who knows?
Netflix has deals with Beyonce, Ariana Grande. Like, literally, like, she's not the only pop star in the world. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
There's plenty of people Netflix is going to do deals with, and like her single-handedly tweeting is not going to take down Netflix. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, girl, but I was just like, I said, God. There are so many times when she does things where I'm like, why does that sound like a threat? Why does that sound like a threat? Why did that make me uncomfortable? Like, in a way, I'm like, what are you trying to say? Why did you never tell your fans to stop sending death threats? Why did you do that?
I think she definitely has like a little bit of young Karen energy. And I don't mean that in like, I'm sorry.
You're not wrong. You're literally not wrong. You're not wrong.
So
You're not wrong. Like, I have to ask myself, if Taylor Swift was a regular white woman in Pennsylvania,
would she call your manager? Answer yes. Answer is yes. Like, picture her in front of your face.
Picture it. Let's think about it, y'all.
Listen, even if you watch like her Vogue interview, it's just, she's got a little bit of that.
Did you see her AMAs? Her Billboard speech.
No.
For Artist of the Decade.
No.
One of the speeches 15 minutes long. Okay. We're going to start there. 15 minutes of an 15-minute acceptance speech.
Oh.
We're going to start there. 15 minutes.
Why?
She was just saying, I wish I could tell you she was saying thank you to people, but she wasn't. Listen, I've been a Taylor Swift fan since I was in the 3rd grade. I've listened to all her albums. I know her whole discography, okay? You know how conflicted it is to be Black and listen to that woman? It's horrible, bro. How dare she send the death threats after, like, the dogs after Antonia Gentry and, like, all this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, girl, you getting real hard to defend out here. Like,
yeah.
It's just like, bro, like, I really have to sit and ask myself, like, before, like, if you saw me on the street or saw like somebody who looked like my dad or like,
yeah,
I don't have any brothers, but like Black men, like, would you call the police? Like, I really have to ask myself. I'm like, bro, like, but what was the question you said before? Like,
would she call your manager?
Oh, she 1000% would. But like before that, I was going to say something.
Well, I was just saying that she kind of has young Karen energy.
Unfortunately, she does.
And she just seems like a little bit, and it's not like a lot of young white women have this energy, which is like, depending on your morals, it could tip one way or the other, but they just have what it takes to be a Karen.
They all have the capacity.
And I could see it. Yeah, I could see it tipping over the edge when they're very much like, oh, be careful. That outfit doesn't look good on you.
You're like, be careful, Netflix. That's not your color. Whoa. What are you talking about? And like the whole thing about how like in her Miss America, girl, the way in her I saw the documentary. She spends about a good 20 minutes of it talking about Kanye West.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, like, I watched it. I'm trying to remember. I remember her talking about it, but
like, I don't know, like
the
fact that she thinks there's also a part of the documentary where she was like, thought she was being mad radical, telling people she was not Republican.
Oh, what did she say? Did she say she's a Democrat?
She sent out a tweet, and her team were sitting there sweating. Like, she's like, da 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 da, like, gay pride, y'all. Or like, I need you to vote in Tennessee to get this person off the seat. This Republican, we don't want to vote for this Republican.
Oh, I remember
and
that.
They tweeted it, right? And then they sat there for 20 minutes like, oh my God, what are they going to say?
I remember that.
Girl, is that your radical action? That's your radical action?
I remember that.
Bro, we got 9-year-olds getting called slurs on the streets in third grade. Like, come on. How is that your radical action? Like, it's just like, it's always been like, I think she's literally so talented. I think she's great, but it's just like, when I tell, she could do so much more in terms of like backing up what she actually says and what she's like, I'm here for women empowerment. I'm here for da 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 da, like all this kind of stuff. Like, there's just more she could do. And there's also steps she could not take, like tell your friends to stop sending death threats to people. Like publicly, please publicly denounce that. Please publicly denounce that. Because it's just like, that's what her legacy is leading in. Because I still don't think she would be as famous as what happened with Kanye West. Because like everything that exists today had to happen in order for this to be the way it is. So like, we really don't know. I think she would have been still famous if Kanye West had not interrupted her, but she'd be Casey Musgraves famous. Like, still winning album of the year, still getting these like all of this stuff, but like she literally thrives off of writing about scandals. You know what I mean? Like she thrives off of that type of attention and then writing about it and making the art off of the scandal. And it was just like, that scandal was so big. There was no media plan that could have made a better way to get your name across the country. There just wasn't. Like, it was national news. So it was just like, after that, like, I really don't, she still would have been famous because she was already releasing Fearless and it did very well. But like, again,
but maybe not as like mainstream famous.
No, not as mainstream famous. She would still have the same niche audience that she's always had.
Yeah. No,
like Kanye West music was like this. It has a much farther reach than Taylor Swift's music does.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I like what you said, like she'd be like Casey Musgraves famous. Like that makes sense.
Yeah. Like, girl, like you, like when I tell you, like there probably would have been a day if that had not happened where she had swept the Grammys. Like Taylor Swift had like swept the Grammys, right? For like her pop album, and everyone was like, who? Because after Casey Musgraves won, that's exactly what they did. Because she was a niche country artist who made these good songs. And people were like, who's that?
Who?
Like that's what would have happened. Like she still would have been famous, still would have had her following, all this kind of stuff. But like, had that not happened, she would not have run with scandals.
Right.
Her running with scandals became a part of her fame. She's like, okay, you're gonna keep putting my name in scandals. I'm gonna run with it. I'm like, that's fine, honey, but still, please collect your fans. Like, please, because my younger sister once said to me that your fandom is a reflection of the artist.
It's true.
I was like,
true.
No, that's true. Look at the people who listen to like Machine Gun Kelly.
Not I.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the fandom is a reflection of the artist.
For sure. And
the fact that her fans feel, oh no, there's something right because they resonate with something in your music. And it could be like sometimes
it could be Karen energy.
Like, sometimes when I tell you like from the energy she puts out, like when it comes across as vindictive. Like it comes across as extremely calculated. And you're like, why are you telling Netflix that color don't look good, honey? Like, but it also comes off as weak reads. Like that's the sad part about it, bro. Like, reads aren't reads. Like they're just, I'm like,
she does think she's reading.
Like that whole thing. Remember when she was like a kid on Ellen, right? And she was just like, you know, like one day I won't remember when a guy broke up. I won't remember the name of the boy who broke up with me in a voicemail that was 127 seconds. And everybody was like, oh my God, go girl. Like it gives such girl boss energy. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying with like the Karen-esque.
That's like girl boss. That's the energy she gives, unfortunately. Do I still stream All Too Well? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I like your stuff. Like, but like, I'm conflicted as a fan, always have been, because I'm just like, I have to really ask myself, like, if you were a regular woman in Pennsylvania or Tennessee,
right?
Like, she would not, if she wasn't famous, she wouldn't have had the same exposure to other artists. Black people, like, she would not have that same exposure. Like, she just wouldn't have. Like,
it's facts, because she was raised on like a farm, right?
To this day, bro. Yeah, she was raised on a farm. To this day, I ask myself if Kanye West knew who she was when he interrupted her.
Oh,
I don't think Kanye knew who she was. I really don't. He was like, who this? He said, this girl beating Beyonce? Like, he was like, oh my God, I have to say something. But also, like, Kanye West was also exhibiting symptoms of bipolar disorder. Like,
yeah.
And had been for years. But like, we were just
nobody
like,
cared.
No, they did not care, because nobody talked about mental illness back then. Like,
right.
And it's not to say like Taylor Swift has never been the victim.
Right.
It's just like, girl, I'm starting to notice her little legacy. Remember Olivia Rodrigo? People are like, oh my God, mini Taylor Swift. Joshua Bassett got death threats after driver's license. He was so stressed, he had a heart attack and went into septic shock. Heart attack. Yeah, that day, the day it was released, he had a heart attack. I'm telling you, people be sending negative energy to people and it really affects them. Okay.
Wow.
Like, there's no proof, obviously, like, oh, she causes heart attack, but like, fans were dead sending him death threats, like in his comments, like, how dare you do this? Da, 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 da. Has Olivia Rodrigo ever said, hey guys, hey y'all, don't send death threats to Joshua? That's not nice. Like, don't ever do that. That is not a reflection of who we are as people. Like, that is, you don't do that. That's not right. No. Just sitting there reaping the benefits.
Yeah.
And Joshua Bassett had a heart attack at 20. Like,
that's
come
crazy.
on. Like, that is just, and I was like, this is a direct lineage of the art that she listened to as a child. This is directly connected.
Correlated, yeah.
This is related. And I'm just like,
is he, sorry, this is kind of unrelated, but also related. So is he dating Sabrina Carpenter? Did I make that up?
I don't know. I thought they were for a sec, but even if she was, like, again, people were really sending threats to Sabrina too. Like,
yeah, no, that's why I thought, because I thought I saw some of that stuff, but.
And I'm like, did you ever step out and say, stop sending death threats to people? Like, how hard is that for an artist?
Right.
To like, go out, like, go on your Instagram and be like, can you guys stop? Like, this is horrible behavior. This is despicable behavior. It is grotesque. Stop sending death threats in my name. Like, just stop doing it, period. Like, but no. They be silent.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it doesn't really bother them as much as it probably should.
I don't think it does. Like,
well,
I feel like
right,
almost
that's scary.
Like, them not saying anything about that kind of stuff is almost like, good. That's what you deserve for doing what you did to me.
No, yeah, exactly. That's what it feels like, for sure.
Are you that petty? Like, are you that small? Are you that small?
Literally.
Like, people are getting harmed on account of you. Like, please blow the whistle. Please say something. Like, it's your obligation as a person with a massive platform. Like, if people are inciting violence in your name, like, there's a reason why people are blaming Trump for January 6th. The insurrection. People are blaming because they're like, you incited that.
Yeah.
Did you hand them the pitchforks? No. But you incited that.
Right.
With your language, with your messages to these people. They didn't go there on account of anybody else. They said, I'm here because Trump told me to come.
Right.
So it's like, honey, if people are sending Sabrina Carpenter, Joshua Bassett death threats, if people were sending Scooter Braun death threats, Antonia Gentry death threats, Taylor Swift and Olivia Rodrigo had the obligation to be like, yo, my bad, never my intention, but like, stop. Like, stop. I'm just trying to share art, but like, clearly this is having an adverse reaction. Like, we need to stop as people. But no, they just sit there, send pretty and they money. And I'm like,
No,
I'm
for
alarmed.
sure.
I'm alarmed that you haven't said anything.
Yeah, I mean, they don't strike me as particularly like, while they seem to be concerned with the image of like righteousness, they don't seem like people who really actually speak up for things very
No,
much.
they don't.
That's just how I feel. Like, I feel like they are very concerned with, like, I don't know much about Olivia. Like, I really don't know. But like with Taylor, she definitely holds herself like you should respect her for being somebody who like stands up for things, but I can't remember like anything that she's really stood up for.
Yeah.
I
Like,
think she
honey,
just,
the
it's a
song
little
you
bit,
need to
it is a
calm down
little,
is not enough.
yeah, it does get a little bit like girl bossy sometimes.
Sometimes.
But yeah.
I was like, did you just? It's very much GGG energy, gatekeep,
Gaslight, gatekeep,
that's
girl
like girl talk.
boss.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And it's like, and I still don't think, like, to this day, I will go to my grave saying I don't think she would have been as famous if Kanye West did not interrupt her in 2009.
Yeah, no,
I'm
in
sorry, little black
conclusion, the
boys didn't know your
answer
name
is
till then.
no.
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
I'm
in
telling you, like,
conclusion,
little
the
black and
answer is
Hispanic
definitely no.
boys had no idea who she was, but they knew who Kanye was. And they were like,
Mm-hmm.
what happened to Kanye? So they looked up the drama and saw her name.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, that's that girl who had that thing with
And
Kanye
then
West.
maybe they went and listened to it and either said it was trash and tweeted about it, and then somebody
Right. But
else
it's,
looked it
yeah.
up and blah, blah, blah. No, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like for Black people to get involved in her narrative obviously would propel her fame forward. So I guess that answers our question. The answer is definitely no.
The answer is no. Like, she's still talented though. Like,
She's still
congrats to
talented,
you.
yeah. I mean, everything happens for a reason, so whatever.
Maybe, yeah, like everything happens for a reason.
Right? But yeah, that was a very interesting conversation. Thank you so much for
Of
joining me
course.
now that your alarm went off.
Sorry. You know
No, it's
me with my
okay.
Apple Watch, material girl.
Apple Watch things. Yeah, I want to get an
Material
Apple
girl.
Watch. Where can people find you?
TikTok, Nona.s. Instagram, Nona.s.
Cool. And you know where to
That's it.
find me at Kira Bria. Patreon will be linked down below. Subscribe to this channel. Leave a 5-star rating if you're listening. Share it with your friends. Follow us. Follow Shannon. Oh, follow Nona.
It's okay.
And
My birth name is Shannon, but that's only what my friends call me.
it always slips out. It always slips out. Anyways, yeah. Follow us and we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.